Control everything. You got it right. And own nothing. We're going to call this one two because I did make a first one, but for some reason, a lot of you guys aren't seeing the videos that I posted. So it's almost like YouTube is shadow banning my YouTube channel that mysteriously took a drop in subscribers. And out of 91 or almost 91,000 subscribers, I only seem to have about 1,000 or two or three liking the videos and seeing them. That seems kind of weird to me. Let me know if you have your own YouTube channel, if that's normal. I would love to hear. But anyway, let's get into it. What's up, guys? It is the Bad Wolf, your man in black, Mr. J to the C to the L, or JL, sometimes called JC. Either way, it's new to me, and we've got a show for you. Ever since we were kids, we've heard people, amongst other people, say, control everything, own nothing. Now we hear it, but now we overstand what they were saying. If you've ever heard that term before, somebody was trying to put you on game. Let's break it apart. We'll take the first part. Control everything. Okay, well, to me in my mind, I house is mine, car is mine, whatever, it's mine. Okay, so I control it. It's not where we should start. It's to own nothing. Let's look at all the layers of that. Own nothing. So they were telling us that without any context, I guess if you're being told it, then somebody was telling you that you should control everything but own nothing. What they were really saying was is you should own nothing directly in your legal name. I'll say it again because it seems like my computer's running out of memory and moving extra slowly. All right. Seems to be running better now. One second. Okay. So the way my brain works in looking at this is that when they say control everything, own nothing, they meant you should have nothing in your name, your legal name. Now we know that they transmute your given name, which is your name that has never been registered to anything on the public side or to them or their system, registered voter, et cetera, et cetera. Why? Well, we now know that your name, once it's been given to them, transmuted, changed, or a doppelganger made of it, created a legal person, a name that looks like yours, just in all caps, all capitalized letters in Black's Law Dictionary. That particular name takes on a connotation of capitis dimitio maxima, to capitalize, to make taller. But that word's also a double entendre, which means it has two meanings. So it's to capitalize and it's to financially capitalize. Dimutio is to diminish, maximum is maximum. So to make the letters taller, make money is a maximum diminishment of your name, your rights, and your freedom. Not total, but a maximum. Because in the ancient days, your name in all caps, just like today, represents a employee, a member, somebody who belongs to the public jurisdiction. We know that because they ask you to prove residence. Prove to me that you have recited your identity to be one of us. You erased your old identity to be one of us. It's not a complete or full 100% erasure, but you're reciting. There it is in the word. Residence, reciting. You're temporarily waiving your rights to stay over here. And you can stay there so long that you're basically a full-time live-in tenant employee. That's what the 14th Amendment U.S. citizen is. So when they say to own nothing, it's to own nothing in your legal name. Now, your name, which was given, is so closely related that almost like what they call alter ego or Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, we can't tell where your private name is any different than the legal name. Why do you think on paperwork and documents they all say, what's your legal name? Because your legal name is the name that you're supposed to go by to do business in the public world, which is their bubble that is interlaced right where you're sitting, but you tie into it when you use your name or ask for a privilege or a benefit. If you remove or stand away from it, ergo, you are not under any disabilities, because that's what it means. When you accept any benefit or privilege, you are operating under, they're placing on you the assumption that you are under a disability. And if you're under a disability, then you're essentially a ward of the state or the city, which then means you fall under parens patriae, which means the city, the state, the county, the police officer, the judge is your father. They are your parents. So somebody out there before all of this was a thing, or somebody out there who started spreading this, you know what you should do? You should control everything but own nothing. They figured owning nothing in your legal name, now that the name has been tainted, is the way to go. You should have all of your stuff in some private 508 or irrevocable trust, your own micronation, nation, government, mission, whatever it is, completely private. You should then also have another entity that interfaces with the public outside of your own legal name and strawman, which is also called your nom de guerre, which is Latin for war name, also known as a legal person, public transmitting utility, private person, not to be confused with a private citizen. Those are two separate things, nor private individual. Those refer to you being living. The word person means all of those things. But depending on the context in which it's used and where it's used, it usually means a non living entity. So nothing should be in your name. Your house, your car. Well, your car, if you don't want to do right to travel, it can stay in your name. That's fine. That's part of the agreement. Don't try to skirt the law. I'm going to put my car in a trust, but I'm still going to drive. Don't try to mix things. If you have a business, put it in the business name if you want to do it that way, but you're still part of the system. And especially if you're still licensed and you still put your vehicle in the trust, but then you have their license plate. Guess what? That's a Trojan horse. You think your trust is private? Sorry. I know some of these gurus out here are teaching that trash. If you have a private trust or a business or whatever else, and you still have their plate on that vehicle that you put into a trust, you still receive interest on your bank account, you still get food stamps, or I think it's a card now. Anywhere where you receive the benefit, that interest, that license is a Trojan horse. It shoots down through everything right into the bottom of that. And that is a public contact. From their world, that means you are trying to naturalize that thing, entity into their world. So you're controlling it, but, and it may not be in your name, but it's a Trojan horse. That means they have access to it, they can penetrate it. Sorry. No matter how private you make, if you expose it to the public and there is something from the public that is impregnating and you think that this thing is private, huh, man, if I don't, if you think that private, I'm just going to say it. Let's go for it. Like my ex and baby mama, if you thought that was private and it was just yours, nope. Somebody else is in there giving her the sneaky peek. Now it's community pussy. Oh Lord. Funniest part about it, her name is Jelly. So there it is. But anyway, if you have too many public contacts or insertions or whatever with public things, you are acclimating, naturalizing, you are pledging that you are trying to conform that thing or whatever else is to being theirs or in their jurisdiction for consideration. So you should be making things with a private name completely in the private. Don't let any public contacts, privileges, or benefits or interest intercede into your entity and in the private, because then you're slowly pulling it into the public. Now, let's talk about control everything. What do they mean? Well, when you put your stuff into something truly private, it is basically, and for the most part, damn near 99.99% impenetrable, or it's a good girl, not a hoe bag. So, gentlemen, choose where you put your man seed and you rest your head carefully. Don't forget, whoever has the highest ground is probably the prize. But it's even better if you guys can find somebody who's a prize and you're a prize too. Because if not, it's unbalanced. Whoever's got the high ground is going to win. It ain't over. So you're making your thing, your entity with your product, your property, and whatever else, your accounts, your whatever else, private, invisible, because that entity doesn't have any controversy. It's not exposed to the public. They may have a problem with you and come after you. And if you own nothing, they can take nothing. Or you can create another entity and use that for your public interface. Then that entity becomes your shield. Oh, but wait. But wait. Dash Ma. Did you know that's actually what the straw man was created to be? Is a shield with a mask of armor to protect you, but the system reconfigured our minds to not overstand this. That the straw man was something we were responsible for, but in fact, the straw man was there to take that ass whooping. We mess up to a certain degree as a member of theirs, the straw man takes care of it. It's the whipping boy. It's Toby. It's the cannon fodder. But they got y'all using it the wrong way, not knowing about it. And then they administrate you the way they see best fit. They have manipulated and pimped we Americans, and most of y'all don't even know it. When you put your stuff into a private trust, a private 508, or whatever else you've created, you don't own it. You control it. It owns whatever you put into it. Now, for numerous reasons, like passing away or whatever else, whatever in there, depending on how you have it set up, goes to your whoever. It's tax exempt, it's private, whatever else goes, it's unprobated. They can't touch it, see it, tax it, or anything like that. It's considered international property. It's foreign to them, and they would need a specialized weapon warrant, a war rant, not a normal punk bitch bench one from a magistrate to break into it or take it. The federal law protects us, the Constitution protects us. But see, they got you guys so used to doing everything that they tell you dance, jump, play, whatever. And it's been lost over the years. I'm not saying it's a big revolution against the system or whatever else. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if you don't know the rules, how do you expect to win? They don't want you to win. They don't want you to know the rules. And so many people out there are complacent to not ask the rules, not know that you guys are the creditors already, that you guys are lowercase g gods, and they need you. They need you way more than you need them. And you don't even see it. You don't even know it. You don't even know that they are the creation, just like your 14th Amendment US citizenship is a creation. Well, if there's a creation, then there has to be a creator. So guess which one you are? Guess which one they are, and they operate for us to protect us. I mean, you guys do realize and know that, like, the United States of America is held in trust, and that the U.S. corporation and all the rest of these judges and police officers, magistrates, postal workers, they're trustees, right? You know, we allowed them to create that system, and they get paid with our money out of the Cesta K Trust or the General Trust. You know that, right? The secret trust they don't want you guys to know about. Yeah, that's our money. The Treasury's holding, and they're all getting paid to do what they're doing to us. And we, by man-made, got the 14th Amendment and citizenship because under 8 USC 1401, we're given both at birth. So then we are, in fact, the grantors. We're the creators of this. They operate it for our best. You think they own the lake? You think they own the roads? You think they own the land, especially? They may own some of the stuff in their offices that they paid for with our money. They are our trustees. They don't own anything. We control them. They control what's underneath them, depending on which overstanding and position you want to be in or event. Then you will take your place as a national sometimes or a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen sometimes. One is God given, that would be your nationality and the right to be private and secure in your papers and personal effects and property. And the other one, they can do whatever they want to do. And that's the 14th Amendment citizenship that they allow, that they welcomed you to reside, regard yourself to be. Kind of a big switch, right? Well, what's in the middle, Wolf? They are. We're the grantors, they're the trustees, we're the beneficiaries. If you know when and how to use it. But apparently you don't. So then you must be age of majority, so you can enter into their world. You can embark on binding things to and fro, but you're not competent. So they administrate you. If you can't control yourself and you operate as a belligerent or combatant, which of course we here, myself included, are not, and we are 100% against sovereign citizen anything. I, the bad wolf, am against sovereign citizen anything and everything. Take that, YouTube censors, put that in your pipe and smoke it. And we already know that that terminology is an oxymoron, has never been codified. So they can't prosecute you on that. And it's derogatory and defamation, so you can sue them for it. Oh, sorry, I'm giving out the kryptonite here. Who knew that these green gems I thought were emeralds were really kryptonite for Bizarro Superman? Because the system was supposed to be our hero, but they're not acting like a hero. They're plundering our country, taking away, they're providing an illusionary experience that appears to take away your rights and freedoms, when in fact, your rights and freedoms are right there. But they are effectively controlling their game and giving the illusion of power, or in electronics, because I am an electrical engineer, it's called apparent power. It looks like you really used it, you really haven't. Oh, you didn't know that? You get you know your electric bill is bullshit, right? You know that a majority of the power that flows into your house is not being used. It's just spinning the meter, and a majority of it's going right back out. They call that apparent power. You're paying for the use of it. You're not paying for all of the power, and you're using all of it. You're not even storing it. You don't have any battery backups, capacitors, and all of that to store the power that's coming in. Oh, another industry secret, another gem drop. What? Do you think that they care that you guys know that? Nah. Then the government cares that you guys are watching this? Nah. You know why? You want to know what? Because you ain't gonna do nothing about it. But in order for you to do something about it, you'd have to start by learning this and then getting other fellow Americans together, and then still yet being a non-belligerent, non-combatant. That takes a whole lot of organizing, crushing of egos, putting aside of differences, and they're not worried about it. They're not losing sleep, but they do like to listen to me talk. I think it's my voice. What does it sound like to you guys? To me, it always sounds kind of like a brassy Kermit the Frog kind of a thing. Intelligence, a little bit of a little bass in it, articulate, but not menacing. So control everything. If you control the entity, you have then the ability to use that entity and whatever the entity has in there. So one of the things you should understand is that when you guys are doing right to travel, for instance, properly, if they write a ticket against you, it's a fictitious ticket because your vehicle, if done properly, is owned by the non-resident. And who's the non-resident? Your trust, your government, your 508, especially if you have not registered it to them, because registration is optional. So the ticket is fictitious right out of the gate. If you close your driver's license, it's even better. You don't have a license to drive. You can't convict me of driving without a license when I don't have a license. Driving on suspended license. Well, if you tried to close it and they refused it, then that's a denial of your rights and benefit and rights and 8 USC 1503, denial of rights and privileges as a national. Then you sue them and you start off at $400,000. It won't take too many lawsuits like that for these police stations to start going, this guy knows the law. Leave them alone as long as they're not. And the cop, actually, was a sheriff, literally said that. As long as they're not breaking the law, speeding or doing whatever else, leave them be. That's the law. At least that sheriff was good. He knew the law. Most police don't know all the law. They know traffic safety and public administration. These are not the same things. But it's also funny because they say, oh, well, you broke this law. You broke civil code, penal code, the state of code. Okay. But the law says the highest law in the land is the Constitution. How come y'all ain't telling me I'm breaking the Constitution? How come I don't hear anybody saying you can't you broken a private law code? See, when they try to pull you out of the private and they force your name onto a ticket, especially if they take the passport, run it through their database, and then write a ticket, that's joinder. That's forced joinder. That's a federal offense. It's a forced document. It's a forged document. I didn't give you permission to put my name on there. I'm not a member of yours. Now, if you have a license and you're driving, yes, they can do that. And for the love of God, stop mixing the jurisdictions. You got a plate on your car is registered, your name is on that, which has been registered to the state. So your name is registered, car is registered, you have a driver's license, and then you want to speed and be all, I'm gonna do something that lets a cop get into my business because I'm gonna cause a public controversy, and he thinks that you may need help, and then you're gonna try to jump out like Billy Badbutt, and which I don't recommend, and then give him the passport, try to see if it works. He can ignore that. Oh, Wolf, why would you say that? I thought you were on our side. I am. I'm on the side of the truth and the law. A police officer can still give you a ticket if you have a passport and he can find your driver's license and you have not made an attempt or have paperwork to show that you closed it and your paperwork sucks or you didn't do it and your vehicle's still in your name and you still have their plates. You can. A lot of them have just been cool. They're like, yeah, I don't even want the headache. That's cool. But you want to run mine? Because none of that's in my name. And I have a private name with a private made ID from my own government for me. That's private capacity. I rarely, if ever, even use the passport. I made one for my own private entity. Now, if I go to the bank, it's not acceptable because then I'm asking to do public business. I must then provide a public ID. Not if I'm traveling privately in my vehicle, because I'm legally foreign to the police officer and the sheriff. And as long as I don't do any public controversy, I overstand them and their authority. But the moment I decide to speed or do something crazy, now they can come investigate. So don't speed. Don't be stupid. Because 99% of the trouble out there that people get into is based on you being in your vehicle and doing something stupid. But remember, the cop pulls you over for no reason. He's got no RAS, reasonable articulable suspicion that you've committed a crime. He's in the wrong. But that doesn't mean that you need to be a belligerent or combatant. Be cool, survive the situation, and you sue him and them later on, or her. If not, be cool. He doesn't know you, but you don't know him. I'll tell you this, if I don't know you as a cop, I don't trust you. We have the right within the merit of the law to defend ourselves to whatever extent if we feel our lives are threatened. But that doesn't mean it gives you an excuse to just be like, oh, he has a gun on him, so I'm going to do some crazy stuff. No. But if he starts stepping out of line for his position, then he's the one in trouble. But you need to survive the encounter. Now, control everything that's yours by putting it into a private thing. That way, it's not a part of any public controversy. You should have something completely private over here, something that interfaces with the public that's mostly private, and then have your straw man so that covers you 360 in your daily life. And lastly, though I'm telling you, you're a fool if you get married on the public side through the state. You need to be doing that private as well. But you're grown, so do what you want to do. Control everything, own nothing.